Out here in Alabama, it is a warm and sunny day, and you couldn't ask for much more in what's supposed to be the coldest part of winter. And for the entire southeast, if it's not going to be sunny, I think it's supposed to be warm in your area. The cold front is coming in later in the week, but at least for today, it's a great day. Unless you're an Auburn football fan. If Auburn football already wasn't in enough trouble as it is, things have just gotten 10 times worse for the program. Normally, whenever people say 10 times worse, you think it's an overstatement or they're exaggerating, but I'm not, and if anything, it's an understatement in my opinion. What's currently went on and what's currently still going on and what got worse even yesterday for the entire program, it's not a good look. I could hype it up and gaslight it all I want. The bottom line is, it's bad, and we're going to talk all about it. As always, if you're new to the channel, I'd greatly appreciate if you go down there, hit that subscribe button, leave a like for more. And now without further ado, let's get into it. Real quick, before we get into this video, I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are having a great day as well. If y'all want to see a double upload, let's get this video to 400 likes in 1 hour, and we'll do it. I got another very, and I mean very interesting video tonight if you guys want to see it, and plus we haven't double uploaded in a while. 400 likes in 1 hour, and hopefully I see y'all again tonight, and now let's really get into it. Auburn football. Where do you even start with them? How about this, first things first? Are we even sure if this is a football school anymore? I mean, they're really looking like a basketball school. The basketball team has looked phenomenal, and you can make an argument and case to say that the fan base at Auburn has supported the basketball team more than the football team. And yes, I do acknowledge some of that is due to their success, so obviously people are going to watch the games more, but it is interesting. The basketball team literally had fans camping out before the Kentucky game, and they've done it for some other games too. We saw it last year at Alabama. Even though they had a great basketball season, and Auburn's currently having a great basketball season, when you think of Alabama-Auburn, you don't think of basketball, you think of football. The Auburn football team could go 0-12 for 3 years straight, and Alabama football could go 0-12 for 3 years straight. It doesn't matter. They're still going to be viewed as football schools. Some of you are probably thinking, yo Matt, why did you bring up basketball? This is a football video. Well, it goes hand in hand in my opinion. Whenever the basketball team's ranked #1 in the country and they're exceeding expectations, it puts a little more pressure on the football team to succeed. You may think it doesn't correlate, but trust me, it goes hand in hand together. It's not a good look for the football coach when you're supposed to be this quote-unquote football school and the basketball team is 10 times better than you. I don't want to get into that entire mess. That's a different conversation for a different day. Let's get into the football. It's really pick your poison. Where do you want to start with Auburn and all the problems? Because there's so many that's went on. I guess the beginning to the domino effect, and I'm not too sure if it's really the biggest problem right now, is that you lost Bo Nix. He's not the biggest problem, but it was the start to it. I've said it many times, and I stand by what I said. Bo Nix isn't a national championship caliber quarterback. He's, if anything, if you don't want to call him mediocre, he's just good. I don't know if he's good, but I'd throw him somewhere in between good/okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being average, 10 being phenomenal, he's a 6. We could sit up here for hours and hours and rant and rave about Bo Nix's performance, but I'm not going to do that. He was inconsistent, and he's not a great quarterback. That's all there is to it. But here's my thing, and I want you to really hear me out. I don't understand where Auburn fans are coming from when they say they don't want Bo Nix. I think some Auburn fans have a false perception and think they should compete with the Alabamas and Georgias of the world, but it's just not going to happen. With Auburn, you can't expect to have a Mac Jones, a Tua, or a Bryce Young every single year because you're Auburn. You don't get to pick out the recruits you want. You kind of get the leftovers from Georgia and Alabama. Auburn football is in a terrible position when it comes to recruiting. They're in the middle of LSU, Florida, Florida State, Miami, and Georgia. They're in the direct middle of all that. A lot of the 5-star recruits that are close to Auburn either A, go to Georgia, or B, go to Alabama, and they get the leftovers. Why am I bringing that up? Because I think it's a great example of what you're going to see next year. That the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Yeah, Bo Nix wasn't great, and he was inconsistent, and he was bad at times, but I don't think Auburn right now can do too much better. You had all these Auburn fans crying saying bench Bo Nix, and well, next year you're going to get your wish, and I guarantee you those same fans that were crying about Bo Nix are going to be wanting him back. Let's get a move on. So at the end of the wishy-washy season that Auburn had, what did Brian Harsin do? He elected to fire their offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo. Not a big deal. Mike Bobo wasn't this offensive mastermind genius, so you can replace him with almost anybody. But oh man, in this last week alone, things are looking really rough and really messy for Auburn. To start off, their defensive coordinator, who is arguably one of the top 10 defensive coordinators in all of college football, Derek Mason, left his position, defensive coordinator at Auburn, to go to Oklahoma State for the same exact position. I am going to gaslight this and hype it up because that is a major red flag. Anytime a defensive coordinator leaves to take the same job at a different school, it's not a good sign. Let me explain why. I think we can all agree that Auburn is a higher tier of a program than Oklahoma State. Sure, Oklahoma State is currently better than Auburn, but it's kind of like USC. USC could go 2-10, they're always going to be one of the most prestigious schools in all of the country. I'm not going to call Oklahoma State a downgrade, but it's not an upgrade. To put it in a better perspective, that'd be like Alabama's offensive coordinator taking the same job at Clemson. It just wouldn't make any sense. Clemson's a great school, Alabama's a great school, so why would you change? So right there, that is odd alone, but then yesterday, one of the weirdest things happened. Auburn's new offensive coordinator, Austin Davis, resigned and left the program. Austin Davis, the offensive coordinator, was only at Auburn for 6 weeks. I want some of you to riddle me this. Imagine getting your dream job, the absolute dream job of your life, and you quit that job in 6 weeks. Something's not quite adding up. I gotta be honest, I wouldn't think too much about it if that was the only thing that's went on, but the fact the defensive coordinator left a week earlier, I don't know, man. It's a little fishy. When the defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator leave within a week, I don't think it's a coincidence. Nobody knows what is going on, but I believe firmly that something has to be going on behind the scenes. Before we go any farther, I have to throw in there, and I know some of you probably already went to the comment section and said it, that Austin Davis did say his decision to resign is 100% based on personal reasons. He also added word for word, after more than a decade in the NFL with the daily grind as a player and coach, I've realized how much I miss my family and desire to spend more time with them. If you think it's not a big deal, I'll offer you this. It's definitely concerning. There's a lot of people out there also stating that Auburn is a dumpster fire under Brian Harsin. Here's my biggest thing and my final take on the situation. Whenever you get to a school like Auburn and you're trying to get them back to those glory days, I'm not saying you got to go 14-0 in your first couple of seasons, but you want to take steps in the right direction. You want to instill that process and get better and better and better every single day. It doesn't happen overnight. With Brian Harsin, I don't see that with Auburn, and if anything, they're going in the wrong direction. Instead of taking those baby steps forward, they're almost taking them backwards. They started out the year on fire and they was hot, and ever since then, it's been a downhill struggle, and that momentum from the season has carried over into the offseason. And let me tell you right now, if you played sports, you know what I'm talking about. Momentum is dangerous. It can be dangerous in a good way, or it can also be dangerous in a bad way. You want to be on the right side of it, and Auburn is not on that right side. I don't know what's going on with this program, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is not looking good. Let me know your thoughts down below. But with all that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you want the double upload, 400 likes in 1 hour. Let's be great, my peace.